Are we? Yep. Show me. Yes. Welcome as this game commences. France under 19 men against Canada under 19 men. Joining me here in the commentating box, I'm Parko, and David Lambert, a.k.a. the Australian men's team extraordinaire, joins us for another dulcet tone affair on day 5 at the 4th Age Group World Championships here in Hobart. Hello, Dave.
You'll never find dulcet tones. That was very kind introduction, Stuart, and thank you. And this is round 2 of the group starting in the under-19s. They played this morning, and we had the France in second place at the beginning of the day, and Canada bringing up the rear. And it looks like Canada is coming out to try to prove something, but I think the French team here today had shown some real discipline, and let's see if they can keep it through this game, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. You can see the French guys really starting to move that puck around there early on in this game, sort of going left and right and making the Canadians swim a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see if this game stays open. The Canadians are on a bit of a counter-attack right now over that far side. The French regain possession, but immediately met in the middle of the court by another vigorous Canadian attack here, and it's... Well, at the moment, it's a very contested affair with the referees calling the first infringement of the game. It's going to be a stick infringement against France there, Dave.
Yeah, I expected more. Both teams have shown their corridor-style play where they sort of run something along the corridor and then look for 45s. Both teams apply their strength like that, but it's interesting to see they're both actually playing a lot opener than I expected this early on in the first half in this game.
Yeah, that's right. As the play continues, you can see advantage puck taken there by Canada. The Frenchies very quick to regain possession, and they swim a kind of pretty straight line, flick it sort of through the middle, easily picked off by that Canadian opposition player there. Again, the French get the puck back, but the buzzer has gone, and it's going to be against Canada here for a illegal knockdown. So in collecting that puck previously, the Canadian competitor must have caught it with a bit of his glove or a bit of his arm, so the Frenchies will have an advantage puck pretty much at the start of deep attack for them, Dave.
Yeah, they are, and they're setting up a forward line. They sort of mixed it up a bit, Stuart. I said this afternoon they actually played a more conservative approach. I refer to it as conservative where they're behind the puck, but the French are pressing with exact numbers on the bottom. They're all there, bar one. And the Canadians are trying to defend. Not 100% sure. We see the referees come up, but gloving by the French, and it's pulled back. They'll have to tidy that up if they're going to continue to do their traditional crunching behind the back wall, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting, actually, because the French are definitely playing a lot more open than their elite teams have in the past. So... it's going to be interesting to see if they keep swimming in that puck into space. They certainly took the puck all the way to the back wall there, and not surprisingly on the right-hand side with the right-hand player, you do run the risk of hitting the puck with your glove, particularly when you see the amount of aggression those French guys were applying onto that back wall. As the Canadians regain that possession and drive it back out towards their sub-bench, a nice little flick and roll movement there. The Frenchies are very hot onto that, again, driving a nice square line back into the centre of the pool there, Dave.
Yeah, that's sort of their signature move is sort of bottle it up on the wall, reverse it, bring it into the open channel, and then drive it in numbers. And as we see, they're driving it in numbers and trying to dig it up from underneath. But the Canadians are holding strong with better positioning on that play. It's just, and they've cleared it out to the far side away from us. And it was interesting to sort of see the discipline, and I hope they're not falling into that unsecure position of that they were second on the ladder this morning, and the Canadians were last, thinking they're actually going to try to play a little open. I think if they lull into that, try to change their game in this thing, I think they have to continue with their discipline and stick to their strong game plan, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. Again, the French asking some really good attacking questions of the Canadian defenders. The Canadians just up to the task as the referees give the advantage puck to the Frenchies, but they are getting very overextended in defence as the French do a really nice push on the right-hand side of the tray here. The puck has gone to the back wall, and the Canadians vigorously and desperately driving that puck down that back wall. Again, the buzzer goes. It'll be interesting to see what the refs have seen here. Breaking, unfortunately, for the Canadians, so the Frenchies will have another advantage puck crack at this goal tray of the Canadians here, Dave.
Yeah, and 5 minutes in, I think both teams are still, trying to settle their nerves and get into it. And the Canadians have been nothing but under the pump as the French line up. Hold on, the referee just adjusted the puck into the middle because it was on the 5 meter line, and they moved it to the center, and that's the step that has to happen. And yes, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nat. Nat Wickham is just showing her Aussie spirits by throwing the kangaroo on, but we look like we have another break. And number 10 from Canada, which is Darkon Gascon, has been sent out by the team because he broke. The team was given a warning. The referees aren't standing for much breakage in this tournament. Stuart, they're saying one break, you get a warning, and then the next one's out, and that's exactly what happened. And the Canadians are down one player, and again the Canadians have cleared it. Good strong defense being shown by the Canadians, but I'm wondering how long this will last, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. The French putting a lot of real attacking pressure on the Canadians. The Canadians doing a good job of keeping that puck out of the tray, but you can see there the French with a good counter-attack. It looks like the puck has gone in the tray to me, or maybe it's just missed it again as it comes out of the side. The buzzer has gone, and it's again defended by the Canadians. A very good defensive move there, and that's I think the referee there is giving that French player a warning for chopping. So it will be a Canadian free puck in their defensive area there, Dave.
Yeah, a nice relief being 5 players down, but I did notice that the French have changed up their tactic a little bit because they're actually not overly committing, therefore trying to reduce the number of fouls and keep that puck nice and clean so they actually make clean goals. Good on them for the try. Unfortunately, the puck does bobble a bit, and it was a bit jumped and things. So that the French, still showing their dominance as it's still pressed up hard in the Canadian defense. And I think we're almost equal 5-on-5 at this stage. Are we not, Stuart?
Yeah, we are. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm sorry. There's only. I think we're back to full strength.
Yeah, okay. So 6-on-6 as the Canadians go for a nice counter-attack down this near side wall. The French regain possession, but under contest, a couple of good regains of possession there by the Canadians. As you can see, that Canadian going crashing through the French lines, losing the puck as he does so, and then recycling back around to get into a defensive position to rejoin the play. Just to put these two teams into perspective, the Canadians are number 9th, holding last position at the moment in their under-19 pool, and the French are 2nd, with only Great Britain above them. So the French are 2nd, the Canadians are 9th, and it's 0-0 with over half of this first half being already played here, Dave.
Yeah, that's a sensational effort. It looks like the Benjamin Lee from the Canadian coach has done a lot of work with his team, and they've sort of jumped up the task. But I also think that the under-19 boys are only doing a single round robin. Is that correct, Stuart, do you think?
Yeah, single round robin, I'm pretty sure. So this is the first time these guys have played against each other with a timeout called here by the French, I believe. The Canadian coach was trying to call his own timeout out as well, I think. I was getting confused. It was the French coach, and it is a timeout. You can see the players sort of getting together again for some wise words. Interestingly enough, the coach for the Canadian team, Benjamin Lee, sort of electing to go for a more shaved look than a lot of the other coaches, or one of the other coaches, Andrew, in the Canadian team. And unfortunately for him, just not able to supply as much leadership as Andrew, because I just can't assume that his players are really inclined to listen to him as much as what people would listen to Andrew there, because obviously the bigger your beard, the more impressive the beard, the more command presence you have there, Dave.
Yeah, well, look, it's probably he's not traditionally from the West Coast where they are lumberjacks and they're okay. But we did see a player sporting quite a good growth, but he definitely wasn't as scruffy, and he kept it well groomed, and he wasn't a lumberjack, was he, Stuart, the young fellow that was in here earlier?
No, he almost was trying to make his hair sort of a part of his jawline, which was interesting. So he did have a good sort of manicured beard going. It sort of went quite close to the surface of his cheeks here, as you see Canada grab that puck and take it into the center of the pool. But then he had a lot of growth coming straight off his chin, so he was establishing a lot of volume down the bottom with not much volume on the side. So an interesting decision there on the facial hair growth front. As we rejoin this game, the referees are pulling up another infringement. Obstruction by the looks of it against Canada. And they are going to
Nathaniel
go.
Schuberger from the Canadians been asked to go and sit on the bench, and the French will have once again a man advantage over the Canadians at this stage. I think the facial hair in that we've seen a lot of different. We've seen some of the French supporters spurting some beards, and it's interesting to note some of the young guys are trying to get in here, but unfortunately they're. Number 12 there, looks like Edward Zhang has got a bit of smiley face and sending out a lot of love back to his support team. So I guess in this youth, is one way he can actually show it rather than through the beard, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. Some people, especially the under-19s, have just got to wait a little while before they can get some proper facial raccoon generation going on there as we rejoin this game, and another infringement has been called, this time against the Canadians. So it'll be a French free puck pretty much in the middle of the pool here. You can see the Canadians setting up right next to their sub-bench. But again, the French are putting a lot of attacking moves on the Canadians, and thus far, the Canadians defending everything the French have thrown at them there, Dave.
Yeah, and it looks like, unfortunately, the Canadians have did a substitution foul, and they're asked to sit on the bench for a minute. Chief referee was right on top of that subbing, and they're not tolerating anything in this game. They're not letting anything go. And number 6 from the Canadian team, Spencer, looks like Spencer Miller has been caught going in a bit too prematurely as we see the French doing their traditional drives. Look, Stuart, I am absolutely surprised here. We've got 4 minutes left to go in this half, and we're still 0-0, and that just shows the depth of the under-19 division where we have we have what were they ranked? What'd you say, Stuart? They're number 2 or number 3?
The French are number 2, and the Canadians are number 9.
And that shows the depth that this competition is get to. It's almost halftime, and it's still 0-0 in this game, Stuart.
Yeah, there really isn't much between these two teams. I mean, yes, the French are attacking more, but the Canadians are defending excellently well as you see the French drive this back wall. But again, repelled by the Canadian defence, you can see how well that defender there for Canada just sort of plucked that puck off the Frenchie's stick and took it straight back into the corner. So, I mean, I'd really like to see the French under-19 lads rip it out of there and take it out and around. They do seem to like going into the space, but at the moment they're just sort of like bashing their heads up against the Canadian defence there, Dave. As I say it, they bring it off the wall.
Yeah, they bring it off the wall and isolate that lone Canadian defender there, and they're swarming on it, and it looks like, Stuart, they must have heard your advice because we've got the two referees saying yes, and we have a goal for the French just on cue for you, Stuart. They must be reading your mind, mate.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Number 7, I'm pretty sure, for the French team. So I'll just get that young lad's name. Charles Stingelhammer. So well done, Charles, for scoring the first goal of the game with just over 3 minutes to go. And like I said, and as I sort of, I don't know if the guys are listening to me or not, but just as I said, I'd like to see them take it off the wall. That's exactly what the Frenchies did. Very fast, very determined, straight into the centre channel. And as Dave said, isolating that last defender for Canada with way too many attacking options for him to defensively cover. As you see this game reconvene, and the Canadians, sort of without too many dropped heads, counter-attacking by the looks of it here, Dave.
Yeah, but I'd say probably for the last 13 minutes we've been in the Canadian defensive half, with the Canadians trying to wrestle that puck off the French attackers to sort of resecure it. And he's done a lot of work, that young fella, and he brought it safely to the side bench where they can do subbing, and that's what the Canadians look like they're doing. They're holding it up in the corner. It looks like number 12 there again. Edward Zhang is just sort of making sure his boys can get some fresh legs in there so they can re-counter attack. But the French are relentless. Numbers on the bottoms. They're getting the edge over the Canadians at the moment because they're actually stronger positioning on the bottom. But we see 3 French people. 3 French players trying to attack the goal tray, and I think they've popped it in. Stuart, wait for the signals from the refs.
Yeah, it looks like they did. It's the second goal for the French guys, number 6 for France. So well done, Ulysses Flandrin, for scoring that goal for the French under-19 team. So the second goal of the match, timeout called with only 1 minute and 53 seconds remaining in this first half. Timeout called by Canada, and what I saw with that defence for Canada was they were under a fair bit of pressure by the French guys. They were weathering that storm, quite close to their sub-bench. The puck was off the wall. The French were sort of attacking on the same line repetitively. there was a lot of Canadians down on the bottom, but then all at once, all the Canadians went to the surface there, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see a lot of big efforts in the middle of the pool to try to drive in the attacking position, but then they were straight on the back foot and they went back to that corner. They sort of surrendered into that corner and were looking for some fast subs, but I don't think they happened fast enough because at that time everyone was sort of pretty exhausted and they went all to the surface, allowed the French driving maul into that 45 and into that in front of the goal, Stuart. Spot on, good pickup on that one, Stuart.
Yeah, so as this timeout comes to a close and we reconvene with just under 2 minutes remaining, the French are winning this strike, and I think that was...
Now, it looks like an equal puck, Stuart, because I think it's very rare, but both sirens went at the same time, and they responded to the wrong court. But the referees are going to have a quick powwow and just see what it is. Should it be just a restart, or should they play an equal puck in the middle pool?
Yeah, we'll wait with bated breath to see what the referees decide. Just looking at the live chat here, Wade Kozak saying, Canada, you're doing great, and Michelle Tingley saying, go, Canada, go. Kevin Mueller saying, yes, à la France. And Kevin Mueller also saying, F de tour. So offered some people from Canada and from France side of the supporting camp getting behind their teams here. And Lauren Berg saying, amazing Canada, looking so strong. I agree with you, Lauren. They are looking very good as the play reconvenes and the French guys bring that puck over to the near side of the court here, Dave.
Yeah, I think both teams like this small, narrow corridor waiting for the other team, but you can see the difference in the structure straight away with the Canadians sort of lining up 2 by 2, where the French have maybe 2 by 2, but they also have outside support waiting for that quick roll-off, then flame it out live. So they go back a bit and then find that pivot guy out on the outside, and that fellow then sprints across the other side, catching the Canadians on the hop. But haven't seen it happen because the Canadians are, on top of all over the French, trying to eliminate their drives. And a nice tackle by number 7, Ducan Pierce from Canada. But unfortunately, it looks like their second efforts with the puck are going a bit wandering. They're not containing it. They're not making close bat-to-bat passes, and that's really hurting them because the French are picking up the crumbs and turning it straight away back onto the defense, Stuart.
Yeah, as we see the French just freely swim that puck into the goal tray, almost defended by that last Canadian defender. But unfortunately, I think we'll wait and see what the referees say. But that is going to be goal number 3 for the French. That's number 4, putting that in the tin. So we'll go with Florentine Dusford scoring goal number 4 right at the end of this first half there, Dave.
Yeah, I was really concerned there that I didn't see the other French fellow on the other side of the Canadian defender. He sort of haphazardly went in there and flicked in a sort of a loopy flick, but it was cleaned up by his support play. So good support play by number 4, Florentine. He must have seen what was happening, and his player must have seen it. So as we don't even get time to have a restart, half the team stayed on the wall as we draw close to the first half, where the French playing in white have 3 goals against the Canadian playing in black 0. But very interesting go, and the score 3-0. I think we were 5 minutes into the game, and we were 10 minutes in the game, Stuart, and we still have a 0-0 score. So in the last 5 minutes, I think maybe fatigue picked in for the Canadians and made them a bit sloppy.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised if fatigue wasn't a factor. And, that constant pressure by the Frenchies just causing some errors in that structural sort of rotation that the Canadians have been doing so well in the first 10 minutes. As you can see there in defence, it's all about not having all the people on the bottom all at once, obviously, because at some point in time you're going to have to go up. You've got to have the people in the right spot at the right time and progressively coming down. So good rotation set up within your defensive system. And the Canadians have been pretty good at repelling the French onslaught for most of this game. But as you sort of said before, Dave, in that last 5 minutes, the Canadians just made a couple of really critical defensive errors, which led to those goals being put in by the French.
Yeah, under constant onslaught of a French attack, something's going to give a crack, and you're going to fatigue and something, so those cracks should open them. Stuart, I'm just looking over at the Canadian coach, Benjamin Lee, and his either the manager or the assistant coach. I think they've heard your cry for getting a bit of stubble on them, because both coaches are having a bit of growth, and I think they're going to come up with the challenge of challenging Andrew of the beard stuff. It's just that orange, that yellow, that green cap is sort of a bit deceptive. So if you have a quick look, you'll see that he's sprouting a bit shorter than yours, but it's he's starting something.
Well, it's good to hear, and I'm not surprised because obviously the very strong first 10 minutes of this Canadian defence, I'm not surprised if that's directly connected to the growth of that stubble that their Canadian coach has been generating. And obviously the Canadians have been much better today at defending than yesterday. So obviously he's generated a bit of hair overnight. He's asserting a little bit more leadership, a little bit more what do you say? A little bit more je ne sais quoi for those French people out there, and really getting his players into this game, Dave.
Very good. Your French is très bon, très bon. And yeah, we're looking forward to start. 30 seconds left to go in the halftime. The boys are, nice, getting relaxed. These Canadians. I'm looking down the line. They're pretty anxious to get going and draw some blood against the French team. I'm just going to have a quick look at some of the stats and see how many goals Yeah, I think the Canadians would like to put a couple goals and double their score counts. Where the French are sitting on about 24 goals, and unfortunately the Canadians are sitting on 1 goal. And I guess they want to add to that today, and the game's underway. I saw some real good excitement jumping off the wall there, and pretty close. But the French, look at them. Look at that wave of attack there, Stuart.
Yeah, a lot of attacking pressure coming straight off the bat here in the second half, very early on by the French. The Canadians getting pushed all the way back, doing a very good job of just sort of funneling that puck, swimming backwards and trying to take it out to that back corner. You can see they've been successful with that. They've got some good numbers on the bottom now after that initial onslaught of the French team is over. We're 2 minutes and a half into this second half, and again, a little bit like the first half, lots of defending by the Canadians, lots of attacking by the French, and some good defending by the Canadians, I must admit. I like what I see with these guys. More often than not, they're up to the task of defending these French attackers here, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, they got a good rotation going. It's they've got one of their back players there, number 3, Michael Tingley, is actually sitting there in cover defense, and the rotating with him is, I believe that was number 12, Evan Zhang. But unfortunately, I think the French have just overpowered them again, and it looks like a number 10 for the French, and that'll be Tom Blesseux, and he's popped in the 4th goal of the French. And that was a quick goal for this half. We're only, a minute 20 in, Stuart.
Yeah, well done, Tom, and the French guys for coming up with something creative to put one in the goal there against a good defending Canadian opposition. I mean, a lot of pressure applied, obviously, straight off the strike, and obviously those French guys are, stuck to their guns and were rewarded by an early goal in this second half as this game continues here. And again, the French lads win the strike, and this time goes straight into the middle of the structure of the Canadians there. The referees have pulled up an infringement. That'll go against the French with 2 minutes, unfortunately, for a dangerous flick. Sometimes you just run that risk when you win the strike and you decide to flick it at the oncoming opposition players. It can get dangerously close to the head sometimes, Dave.
Yeah, they can, and obviously it wasn't, whilst it's unsportsmanlike, but number 13, Joel Mann at Michigan, it's just one of those unfortunate things that does happen in our game. It just pops up on the sticks and hits someone in the head. And it was only was it only 2 minutes? I think he was given. If it's deliberate, that's 5 minutes. And you and I both been in teams and coached teams where that 5 minutes player sitting in the side, it's something we just don't like. That's a third of the game and a third of the half, and it's fortunate for him. The referees only deemed it a bit, inconsequential, but 2 minutes he will sit.
Yeah, exactly. As we see the Canadians getting an advantage puck on the halfway line and making the most of it, they do have it in their attacking half at the moment, and they are pressing the French team a fair bit more than they have in the past, and doing a good job of maintaining the pressure. As you see, the French just starting to get a little bit of attacking momentum going, but it's to no avail as they get called for a stick infringement. It will be another free puck for the Canadians in the defensive half, so the attacking half for the Canadians here, and it'll be interesting to see what these Canadian lads can come up with to attack with, Dave.
Yeah, that was some great pressure they put on, because actually, if you notice, the French were not getting in their strong position. They were sort of hustling and really trying to get back, but actually trying to take shortcuts, as we see the French trying to bring. But a nice roll off by the defense, but he just gave the puck away straight back to the French, who are lurking on that 45 as they're driving straight onto the goal tray. Even with a player down, they got nice pass by that Canadians back line to try to lead up the center. And they're trying to rock and roll it up. He's got to get it up ahead. And unfortunately, the French is, no, he's got it back. Well done. And I just noticed the French are being a bit, I won't call it lazy, but it's just that because of the French pressure, it's getting harder for them to get back and get strong positions. But as we say that, the French are making a strong drive, and that's a nice, strong swim. But the referees have seen something back later, and we got something going on in the back here. And it's just, it looks like something else. The chief referee is pointing to someone to get out of the pool or something like that, but I'm not sure what it's just sort of winging someone over there, pointing to someone.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. The referees are calling a timeout, and they are swimming over to that pool deck ref. Just a reminder to everyone here, the French are actually playing with one player down at the moment because of that dangerous flick a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, it's one more got out because of a subbing foul, and looked like number 11, Kevin Capun, one of our goal scorers, did an illegal sub, and he was pulled by the chief ref. That's who he's pointing at. So he's out for 1 minute, sitting on the side. And the Canadians are going to enjoy a two-man advantage here, Stuart.
Yeah, really good opportunity for the Canadians to capitalise in attack. But unfortunately for them, I think a fresh sub of the Frenchies has just gone for a really strong run down the near side wall here. He was a left-hander as well, so we just used that to advantage. As you can see, I think that was number 11. Kevin Copen is in the bin with Joel Mingerson, I think, has rejoined the game now.
Yep, that's right. He served his 2-minute a dangerous flick incidental, but it was still a dangerous flick. But now that's still 5 players for the French, and let's see if they can get back their regroup as the Canadians make a strong drive towards the French goal. I think this is the closest I've seen the Canadians to the 3-meter D, and the French defense comes up and saves the day as the player who did the illegal sub rejoins the game very quickly. He's very close to the sin bin, so both teams back to full strength, Stuart.
Yeah, really good passage of play there by the Canadians, putting a lot of attacking pressure on the French. And I agree with you, Dave. That was definitely the closest they've got to their or to the French defensive goal. There's another French player is sin bin for, I think, a deliberate foul there. And it'll be interesting to see what the Canadians can create in this passage of play here, Dave. Now there are again with one player more than the French in the court.
Yeah, I mean, if they can continue this pressure, I can see that the French are starting to tire. Their breakdowns that happen, as I said earlier, it's making them, hesitate in getting into the strong positions. But, they're still passing the puck well. I think what we're seeing here is still the French dominating in the attack, but it is in the middle of the pool. And once the Canadians gain a bit of control, if they can hold on to that goal, pass it around and start attacking, then they seem to be very strong. But it seems to be a bit hit and miss at the moment, Stuart.
Yeah, so we see as there's just over 8 minutes to go in this second half, the Canadians again having to take that puck into their back right-hand corner to do a lot of defending. They just leave that puck on the wall there, let the French guys cycle and come back in to try and get it. It's a very hard spot to attack from as they try and sort of shove it under themselves to try and get it off the wall. The referees have pulled up an infringement. It looks to me like they were playing advantage for the French. It's going to be a stick infringement against Canada. So, again, the Canadians are going to get put under a whole bunch of pressure here by the French team as the Canada coach calls a timeout here, Dave.
Yeah, it's probably a good moment because the Canadian defense looked like they were getting a bit rattled there with that onslaught of French attacking, and I'm not sure if it was because the intensity of the French game, and it looks like the French player is sitting waiting for him to re-enter the game, because as soon as that puck's touched, and it's a good call from my sense from Benjamin there to regroup his troops and make sure they're focused. And we still have at least 7 minutes remaining in this game, and there's still time for the Canadians to pop in a few goals to try to draw level. It may seem an optimist task and a hill to climb, but it's still not impossible. We've all seen it before in the past, but it'll take something that the French need to regain their composure and see it.
You can see those French forwards really opting for that whole head down, feet up kind of position there, which is interesting because I mean, you can see they've got a much nicer position on the bottom now as the French go around their French forwards and then attack the other side of the tray. So those guys are obviously decoys. The Canadians doing a very good amount of defensive work there to keep that puck out of the tray. The referees have seen an infringement. It's going to be, unfortunately for the Canadians, it's going to be a break and they're going to lose a player here. They've already been warned before. So Canada are going to go one player down, and the Frenchies will again have a chance to make that sneaky little decoy work in this attacking advantage puck there, Dave.
I'll be interested to see if they actually do the headstand again. I think they do have a tendency to change it up, but maybe the Canadians, they didn't see it work, and I think that's right. They didn't do that. They opted for more of a traditional thing, but given the even players, and they're pushing, but the Canadians are repelling it again. They're showing that strong Canadian defense, the recycling, but again, it's how long do these boys last? We have 6 minutes to go, and last time around the 5-6 minute model mark with this constant pressure, we saw some cracks open up, Stuart.
We definitely did see some cracks open up, Dave. As you can see here, the Canadians are still going pedal to the metal in defense, and the puck has gone in the tray with, unfortunately, one player down, and those cracks just opening up wide enough to sneak a puck into the goal there, Dave.
Yeah, that's simply, I think this case is just simply because of numbers. The French, it's a numbers game, and they have, they had 4 and 5 players down there, and that's all the Canadians have. So if they were all down, that meant no one on the surface getting sucking in some oxygen to come in and support them. So, yeah, just a numbers game. They were outnumbered, and, sure enough, there's a big crack, and it went into that big tray.
Yeah, that's right. As the game reconvenes here, you can see both teams coming into the puck. The Frenchies just winning the puck there off the strike, but no matter, the Canadians have got a good structural defense happening, and they drive it over to the far wall. And it is a contested puck over that side. As you can see, they've turned the French momentum, and they are establishing a bit of attacking momentum themselves. It's going to be interesting to see if their player that's doing a minute in the bin rejoins us pretty soon, and how much impact he can have on the game here as the Canadians go back to full strength, 6 players in the water there, Dave.
Yeah, I'd just like to see the Canadian team, they're strong in defense and then they hang on to it, but it's that second phase play that they actually have as the French make a strong effort to it. What I'm saying is that, the next guy gets the puck here, but he actually loses it too easily to the French, and as we see, the French are all over that tray and trying to put it in as the defense working overtime here in the Canadians, and there's I think the smallness of the Canadian team is playing advantage. He just snuck into the goal tray, but unfortunately, I think to a last number 9 and number 13 and number 12 were all in the bottom of the tray, and it looked like a number 13 on that one, but Theodora Kazak, but I'm not sure. I think we might have to get confirmation from the desk on that one. But, yes, number 9, Valentine Carrere. So I was way off there, Stuart.
It's all right, mate. It certainly hasn't been the first time that I've done that. And so it's completely understandable. Sometimes it is quite hard to pick the number as we go into another time out here. I think I'm not sure which coach called that, but this will probably be the last one for the game.
That'll be the French, I think, because the Canadians had the one before, Stuart.
Yeah. So 4.5 minutes or just under remaining in this game. La France leading the Canadians 6-0 in this very sort of tight match. The scoreline definitely does not indicate just how close this game has been. Obviously, the French doing a lot of attacking, the Canadians doing a lot of defending. So the Canadians not able to assert any sort of or much attacking dominance on this game, but doing an excellent job of bringing the contest to the French in defence all game there, Dave.
Yeah, they're really strong on the defense. They've probably been practicing that all tournament, but I'd really like to see them work on the offense, because if you see the difference between what the French and they can do, the French are solid on their attack. They're solid in defense. The Canadians are solid in defense, but unable to string a couple of connections together to make their attacking moves. So here we go. We're starting of the restart after that timeout, and the French once again win the strike and take control of the puck and trying to drive it through the middle. And looks like the Canadians have no, it's still back into the middle, and the French are still trying to drive it to the other end in their single effort. But it's time to go for some breath. And the Canadian looking for a support. And that was my point before, Stuart, is that that player made an excellent steal, number 5 from the Canadians, and that was number Nathan Schittelmacher. And he was all alone. In his flick, it just was way short of his support team coming in late, and it was straight right to a French player. And I think that's evident of what's been happening to the Canadians, unable to mount a strong attack from any position in the pool, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. You can see the French are continuously trying to attack those lines there. The Canadians doing a good job at the moment of counter-attacking down the pool, but they are met pretty quickly by the French defenders. I mean, in my opinion, I actually think the French lads in the first sort of 10 minutes looked a lot more dangerous than they do at the moment, even though they have put in a couple of goals. The French guys are tending to try and swim through the line and through the structure of the Canadians a lot. You can see they're sort of trying to funnel it out, but it's on 45s forward, and then they just bring it straight back to where the Canadians are, as opposed to, committing to swimming that puck out into some kind of clear water. So I like the way the French were sort of swinging the play around in the first half, and they seem to be swimming a lot straighter in the second half of the first half and the second half, Dave.
Yeah, I think that you're spot on there, Stuart, and I think that's a result of the scoreline. They probably know they're 6 goals up, and there's only 3 minutes left to go. They're probably aware of that, or if not, they should be. But they're probably looking for the easy out. They're not looking for doing the hard yards, which they were doing in the first and at the beginning of the second half. They're sort of trying to take the shortcut and look for the glory days.
Yeah, it is all about the glory days after all. That's very true, Dave. As we see the last 2.5 minutes of this game start to play out here, the players on the far side of the court, the Canadians still doing, as they've done all game, a very good job of keeping the French onslaught, the attacking onslaught at bay. The French applying a lot of attacking pressure consistently. As again, they pressed that tray in numbers, and I think that was another case of the Canadians just being caught on the surface with too many defenders on the surface, and again, not enough numbers behind the puck. This time round, though, they're saved by the referees, and it is going to be called gloving with an equal puck, which is an equal call, an interesting call there, Dave.
Yeah, it is that way in defense. No advantage to the attacking team. And the defensive team, as you said, Stuart, were caught way on the hop, and they were actually coming down almost in a reverse. Well, they were doing a handstand, basically. I see it that way. They weren't strong behind the puck because they were caught flat, and I think that's where the fatigue is coming in. We've got 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. Those little legs that they've been pumping, even with their little nage fins on, they must be absolutely exhausting, because, let's face it, 80 to 90% of this game has been defensive on behalf of the Canadians.
Yeah, those Canadians have done a great job, and they're definitely going to have to go home and get some serious carbohydrates into their heads tonight and put their heads down and try and recoup some of that energy that they've definitely expelled in this game. The French having been relentless with their attacking moves. We're just being told that we've got to make some technical adjustments to this Court 1 system here, so there won't be any interviews on Court 1 after this game, unfortunately. As we see the French again slowly starting to press an attacking advantage down that far side of the court. The Canadians doing a good job of holding them up there as the play comes back in the middle of the court and recycled back again to that far side of the court there, Dave.
Yeah, again, lots of strong movements by the defensive team in Canada's way, and it's that next phase, Stuart. They lovely roll off, and he feeded it off to his play. He moved forward, and he gave it to. He just missed his next pass, and that turned it right over to the French. And guess what the French did? They turned it around and said, "Hey, you're going to give it to me. I'm going to run down allez. I'm going to run down my line and try to draw in my player and feed it up." And again, the Canadians are back on the hub. Luckily, they're over by the sub bench. They can rotate it through. Unlike the girls, they have a full set of subs in there, and the girls have suffered a number of injuries, so that makes some things. But the guys have it, and they can get them in there and recycle them in quickly before the French comes in. But they're still attacking, and it's good to see them move it out wide and try to work it around that Canadian defense. But Canadians are responding well by getting over. But unfortunately, they're a little bit late, and another one popped in for the French.
Yeah, it looks like goal number 7 for the French in the last 2 seconds of this game. I think that was number 7 for France. So
yeah, the clock's saying game over, and I guess it'll come down to the referee's decision whether or not the game is The game is called there. It looks
they
like
might
the
have given
game
that
is
goal to the wrong side there. I'm pretty sure they meant to put that goal onto white, not black.
and they're making that correction very quickly, but I
Yeah.
think they're not up. Yep, 7-0 for the French over the Canadians. And I know the boys will be very disappointed in not being able to come out here and say hi to their fans, but we got some technical issues, and we're getting the word from our technical guru in here that we can't do on the deck. I'll go out and tell the boys and explain the technical issue, but I think we better get off the air, Stuart, and thank you again for joining me so Sean can get on to his stuff, buddy.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the Frenchies on a well-fought victory today. Cheers.